signed a brand new contract, and he does play for the Toronto Raptors, and he was dating a young lady who was his high school sweetheart. And he left her for a white girl and got her pregnant. So she made this video, and then people was kind of in an uproar about it. I was very surprised.
What's that looking? Put a finger down if you were dating your high school sweetheart for almost 6 years. You're holding it down for him while he's trying to make it to the NBA. He makes it to the NBA, so you move to another country to be there with him to support him, all while studying for your master's. One day, out of the blue, he breaks up with you, and then months later, he gets a white girl pregnant. Just me? Oh, okay.
So it was two ways people was feeling about it. Some, of course, men was like, he was in high school. What's her definition of holding them down? And I think realistically for most men, I had to learn the hard way, especially with the internet. Everybody hasn't experienced life a lot, because I think when we talked about this before, even when we talked about just like when you was playing basketball and you was like that, one of the biggest distractions was girls. And I think for dudes, if you thinking in your mind, the only form of holding somebody down is a financial thing, because that's a lot of people in the comment section kind of saying, you crazy, she ain't got to sit. Well, let's be clear, women felt some type of way, of course, because he left her for a white woman. But realistically, a lot of dudes just kept saying, how could she hold him down? He was in high school, this, that, and the third, blah, blah, blah. And I'm telling you, having some guaranteed box, let me break it down plain and simple. Having guaranteed box that you can come home to every day saves a lot of lives for dudes who are literally out here who chase a lot of box. So, because if you sit here and say, now I don't gotta go outside all day and get miscellaneous, get caught up in any wild parties or anything, just look at how many, dog, you know how many athletes you can Google right now who career literally went down the drain because it's something that had to do with some sexual stuff with a female. So for you to sit here and think that that's not a go-to thing for a athlete to be able to stay focused, stay locked in, is having a girlfriend from high school until they all the way make it to the pros. Are you crazy as hell? And he played for Toronto. He not from Toronto. So to sit here and better go to a whole, like you said, go to a whole nother country, and then we randomly just break up, and then you pop up with somebody pregnant, it's crazy. Like, that is the definition of holding somebody down. I guarantee you can Google over 100-something athletes, probably more than that, but I'm just talking about maybe in the last 5 or 10 years, over 100 athletes whose careers end up going nowhere but to jail because of a sexual assault, behind dealing with just random women, being in the wrong place at the wrong time, going to a party. Shit, look at Shorty, what's my man name who played with Brandon Miller? Like, all of those, literally, he just was in a situation. Why? Because it was one of his teammates arguing with a girl at a goddamn bar. Like, dog, I think people don't really understand how important sometimes having a significant other waiting for you at home can literally save your life and stop you from doing a whole bunch of extra stuff that you don't got no business doing. And especially at a young age, like, dog, that is one of the things that I'm sure, the older you get, the more you really appreciate it. And you kind of go back, if you look in the time and be like, damn, I wish I would have dealt with whoever you was dealing with a little bit differently. Like, I get it. You can't hold too many high expectations for like a dude in his 20s. I mean, of course, he's in his 20s. He a dude. I'm not expecting for him to sit here and be some model citizen and really be ready to be committed into a relationship. But does that not make it still foul what he did? Hell yeah, make it foul what you did. Because realistically, though, if you wanted to have a kid, and let's be clear, I did see a lot of people in the comment section saying he probably just slipped up and got the white girl pregnant and didn't know how to tell his girlfriend, which is still corny. But I mean, like I said, I get it. If you're in your 20s, some people aren't really confrontational people, so they kind of try to avoid it. So if you didn't have the balls or the decency to say, hey, I slipped up, I cheated on you, I can imagine that is a hard conversation to have. So just being like a coward, let me just break up with her, and then I can just deal with this woman that I got pregnant. And the woman that he got pregnant, she is 33 years old, he is 23. So she is 10 years his senior. So like I said, trust and believe. I mean, I get both sides. I understand it, but I do still think a lot of people don't understand somebody can hold you down without it actually being a financial beneficial thing where you're like, oh, you held me down because you put a roof over my head or something crazy. Like, people just making a lot of excuses. And none of us know. I don't know Scotty Barnes' story. He could have been living super in poverty. Who knows? I don't really know his story. I don't know nothing about him. So I can't even sit here and say, was she dragging him when she was saying holding him down? Because she might have been. He could have been staying with her family. Like, bro, it's so many different stories when you hear about some of these athletes where they didn't have somewhere to stay, where they was running to go sit here and stay with a coach or whatever. I don't know his story. So I can't even sit here and say, is she dragging it? But I'm just sitting here off of just my knowledge of being a man and dating women and understanding how beneficial it is to have guaranteed box where you don't have to sit here and run around and try to chase it. It is a huge difference, but you won't never understand it until you live both sides of the story, until you didn't chase some box and understand how left it can go. And everybody, though, there's too many dudes that done got smoked and some more. I'm like, come on, dog. I don't understand how some people don't understand having guaranteed box in the house can really save your life. Y'all got any thoughts or anything about that one?
No, like maybe they just kind of grew apart. You don't think so?
Nah, not just a random breakup. Unless she lying, unless she missing something out. You can't have a random breakup. Nah, I don't believe not a random breakup. Like I can see if she sit here and say, okay, our first big argument, then you run and go get somebody pregnant. I can get that, but I can't just sit here and say you just randomly one day and just call it quits and then you pop up with like, oh, but I mean, and let's be clear. If you see Scotty Barnes, he look like a nigga who would date a white girl.
I say I don't know what he looked like. So
He looked like just like and like I said, he's not no super big name athlete neither. So I mean, it happens. It happens a lot of times. I know the crazy thing is where I do like when of course when the WNBA eventually gets bigger, we gonna have a conversation about how like black women get mad at the male athletes, and I think it may be a little bit different for women because a lot of them may be not as, I guess, quote unquote, attractive. So they kind of lean towards like dating white dudes. Like, bro, it's a lot of like two things I paid attention to this year. Are every woman that work at ESPN date a white man or married to a white man? Like I'm saying all of them are black and they all literally date white. And this crazy thing is the only white woman that was on there is Molly and she was dating Jalen Rose. But all the black women on there, their husbands are white. Is insane. I was like, dog, is this something in the contract at ESPN where it's like you gotta kind of like you got to know how to pander the whites? I don't understand it. And a lot of the WNBA women, their boyfriends, the ones who are lesbian women, a lot of their boyfriends are white men. I don't know what it is. I don't understand it because I didn't go to college. I can't sit here and say, and maybe I feel like sometimes it's hard for me to judge them because like, okay, maybe I'm seeing you at the glow up portion. I don't know what you look like in college. I don't necessarily know like if you was fully giving dyke what I really like was niggas really knocking down your door. So that's why I kind of be like, I want to be shooting people bail sometimes because like I can't be super judging because you may feel like damn the only person who was really checking for me was the white dudes or the white girls. So it's kind of like I be trying to not be as hard on people about who they choose because I don't know what your real dating pool actually look like. I don't necessarily know how many other black people was actually knocking down your door. And that can kind of lead into my favorite show on the internet is the red balloon situation, popping the red balloon. And I do see a lot of people on social media complaining about it. And I think the people who don't like the red balloon popping thing, you are the people who like to, you like to live in your bubble. You don't like to see how people actually real life really judge people. And this is the perfect clip to play on how a group of women judge this dude off of the way he looked instead of who he actually was.
Fit, but now that I get close, Miss Tiffany, and I'm 26, and I initially popped it because of the outfit, but now that I get close to you and I heard what you say, I want my balloon back. Because I can always change your fit, baby. I love fashion. We can go shopping.
Thank you. And I actually have more fits in my book bag back there. You feel me? Like,
can you get that balloon?
Yeah. Oh my, she asked for it. I'll hand it to you.
Thank you.
Okay, well,
I like spoiling my lady.
We'll be back.
Yeah.
Here. All right. Any questions between the two of you? Feel free.
Do you have any kids?
No kids.
I have a kid.
Okay, cool. And how old?
2.
Okay, awesome. What's the situation with your?
Me and my son's father do week to week. We have good co-parenting relationship.
That's awesome. And why did that end?
It ended because I was in a relationship with him for 6 years and he didn't marry me.
Oh, got you. So it was a boundary.
Yeah, I had to stand on business. I had to go. Awesome. And I was with him. My name is Tiffany and I'm 19 till 7-8 months ago.
Got you. So childhood.
Yeah.
Got you. Cool. I have a question. If you don't mind.
Yeah.
What's your favorite genre of music and the artist?
I love R&B and pop, and my favorite artist is Michael Jackson.
Word. Okay. Okay. Do you like to dance?
Yes, I love to dance. I'm a dancer.
Yep.
I'm an exact
I've dated
dancer.
a lot of dancers.
Really?
Yeah. I've dated a lot of dancers. Yeah.
Okay. So you don't have no problem with that.
I think I'm good with a young lady right now.
Come on, Tiffany. Come on up. All right. So he said he's good. Are you good? No, any other questions? Where do you live?
I'm on tour right now on PBS for TB Adventures. So I'm traveling to different cities and just educating kids right now.
So you love kids, you just don't have any.
What do you say?
You love kids, you just don't have.
I don't have it. I'm 29, so I didn't get to having kids yet.
Do you want kids? I
do want kids. I would love to see my kids see TB on the screen, which is me.
Oh.
That's like I'm a superhero at that point.
I want 19 till kids. I just want to be married first.
That's fine with me.
Okay.
That's fine with me.
All right. Well, then, is it going to be a yes for you for him?
Yes.
And is it a yes for you for her?
For sure.
We got a match! I'll take this mic and you guys can go on off. Let's make it up. Let's make some noise. kids.
I'm not gonna lie to you. For people who have not seen that video, let me just paint you a little visual picture. Let's be clear. Tiffany is definitely dragging a wagon, so I can get how she could be an exotic dancer, and she's kind of like a petite sized woman with a fat butt. So I can imagine she probably official on the pole or something. Because I gotta imagine she probably a little bit more flexible than just like she ain't some super OD like BBW type of thick stripper jump. So I can kind of imagine she probably go crazy on the pole. And this gentleman can't, like, he's a super like a strong dude. Like he looked like he be in the gym a lot, but his swag was kind of nuts. I'm not gonna hold you. I'm not mad at all the women for popping their balloon because the way he dressed, because his outfit did look like he was about to go on a job interview. He didn't look like he was coming on a dating show. And I seen this same video, and that's why I kind of just played right off of it when I was talking about dating white and black, because Killer Mike tweeted off of this video like how because all the girls popped their balloon on him, and Killer Mike was like, that's crazy. This is, like he's a good black man. Like y'all just, everybody popped their balloon because of the way he was dressed. And he was like, the crazy thing is everybody will get pissed because this will be the type of dude who you'll eventually end up seeing later on down the line, marrying a white woman. And people are like, oh, look at all the successful black men running to white women. But that's why I like this show so much, because you get to see how shallow and how petty the world really is. Because this nigga literally, it's what, 20 women on this joint, all of them pop their balloon because of the way he dressed. Now, let's be clear. Again, like I said, he looked like he was about to go on a job interview. His outfit was trash. But, and he probably looked like, you on the show, you probably should have got your cornrows refreshed up. But, it is what it is. But, of course, he found this match, so I'm not mad at him. I do think that that's cool. I don't know how long it'll work because it's just.
It ain't going to work. And she shouldn't have got her balloons. They shouldn't have gave her balloon back. You popped it. How you go back and be like, oh, let me get my balloon? It's not gonna work.
No, I'm listening to what I'm saying. I'm not. That's the reason why I'm not going to disagree with you. But I do got another clip from another one of those little street video jumps, and I can play right behind it because it go kind of like to exactly what you just said. And this woman kind of was like, she was trying to. This dude been shooting his shot at her for over a year, and I'm gonna play with you what she said.
No, he was the one.
So he actually tried to make a pass at me like for a year and a half, and I was like, not my type. And I had a dream that I was getting married, and it was him. Randomly, I texted him one day after not texting him for like a whole year and a half. It just started like that.
What would you say your typical type is?
I used to like Islander guys. I like that whole look. You just have to be a nice person, had to be respectful. But yeah, I was really immature, so I think I focused on the wrong things at that time.
So what about him helped you change what your type was?
I don't think it helped me change my type. I think I just started to look for quality traits, because you can have a really handsome guy and then he can be a total jerk.
For you, how did you not give up? Like, what kept you persevering and wanting to pursue her even after that year?
I patiently waited. I knew that was my wife, so there was no giving up. Like she said, sometimes it's immaturity that makes people make certain decisions. There's things to look for other than six pack and tall and 6 feet. And there's more to life than that. When all of that fades, what else do you have?
How did you know he was the one?
All right, so that kind of just, I feel like those clips go hand in hand. And so my thing, even with what she's saying, do I agree with what she's saying, and do I even agree with what he was saying? Me, just real quick, my personal ego, I don't necessarily know if my ego is set up for that. Not yet, because that was kind of almost like a slap in the face where she was kind of like, I'm really into like the island vibes. So basically she was trying to say she into the sexy, strong, muscular looking niggas, but she was like, those dudes be jerks. So you kind of sit here and say, now you're not, I don't want to say settling, because we had that conversation maybe like a few months ago. I don't necessarily want to say settling, but you sit here now, your preference or your taste in men has changed because you've kind of figured like, just because he's fine to the eye don't necessarily mean he fine for the soul. And do I think realistically most people will start to come to Jesus moment later on in life? Maybe, and I'm proud of her, maybe because hers came in a year and it didn't take her 10 years to understand that. But him just to sit there and kind of be like okay with it, and he kind of like, see, I don't need a 6-pack. I'm like, nah, you sound like a sucker.
She basically just kind of called him like ugly, kind of. It felt like something didn't work out for her. She was probably after something else and they ain't bite, so she went with the next person.
Okay, for sure. No, that's absolutely what it sounded like.
But shit, he ain't have nothing going on, obviously.
Yeah, look wise, but everything else.
I'm saying he probably ain't had nothing going on.
I mean, yeah, look at the nigga.
If you talking about I ain't heard from you in a year and you just pick back up and we about to get married.
No, but listen to listen to what I'm saying. Listen to what I'm saying. Two things could be true though, but that could be just like a random. Let's put it like this. It could be just him shooting his shot on social media for a year. Because some niggas, you like, if a girl don't never give you a hard no, you're gonna still always continuously flirt. Like if you see here, if I hard eye a girl's story and she at least open it and just like it, she may not even comment and give you no real rhythm, but if she just keep liking it, so she kind of letting you know, like, all right, nigga, I ain't giving you, I'm not opening the door for you, but not, the door ain't completely closed. So that may be kind of what it been. She might have just been stringing him along for a year or not. Like I said, she said she wasn't texting him, but I'm sure he probably was still shooting his shot a year, because there's no way in the world you just randomly gonna sit here and text somebody a year later and know that they was going to respond, unless he was still kind of flirting with you in some type of way.
You.
No, you're not just randomly texting me a year later, and I haven't heard from you in a whole year, unless it's still been some type of flirting via social media.
But if she wasn't responding to him,
It still could be. I feel like, yeah, you can get that off, especially if you that person. If I ain't text you in a minute and I'm just like, oh, what's up? What's good with you? Let's meet up.
Yeah, it's not gonna happen, dog. Not for me, it ain't gonna happen. But I mean,
but it won't happen to you. You feel like that's your pride. They're saying, oh, you're not gonna just come in my life, when you want to.
Nah, I don't necessarily know. It's just the way she said it. It just seemed like, bro, that was like almost like that was backhanded compliments, like the ultimate disrespect right in your face.
But so how she look? Like she looked like a
no nigga, like look at her, nigga. She right here. Look at her and look at him. If y'all both ain't saying it, look at him.
He actually tried to make a pass at me like for a year and a half, and I was like, not my type. And I had a dream that I was getting married, and it was him.
Like, nigga, I'm not waiting for her. What the hell you talking? Hell no, you're not even about to play with me like that. But like I said, I understand, and that's why I always come on here and sit here and say, I know the longer, like, you can stay single as long as you possibly want, but 10 years, 5 years from now, the older you get and the more you kind of realize that your type may not actually be right for your soul, you're gonna learn. She learned a year later, but like my only thing is, even if you do learn, don't come back and tell me that you learned. Like, that's the part that was kind of like, damn, you said this to my face.
but wouldn't you kind of feel that way anyway?
I don't know, but I mean, listen to what I'm saying. I would never know. Like, don't tell me. Like, I'd rather just think that you just at that time you was already dating other niggas, or you already had a roster and you just didn't have time for me. Because I still think, like, again, like we talking about, if you've been flirting with somebody, like perfect. I can tell you a perfect example. I was flirting with this girl, and I didn't never go over top because I knew that she was married. But you still see her story. Sometimes you may heart them or whatever the case may be. But I paid attention to when she started to respond differently in the DM. And then when me and her eventually exchanged numbers, then she came out and was like, yeah, I'm getting divorced, whatever the case may be. And I said, I figured that because the way you started to respond differently in the DMs, because when she was married, she wasn't giving me no rhythm. She wasn't, like she may open it or maybe just like it, but it was no like flirty emojis. Cause even though on Instagram, like even if you want to like it, you can switch the emoji back. So like when you liking it, you want to put an extra little sauce on it. You can put the kissy emoji, or you can put some extra stuff. So that's my point. People can show you different ways just via social media, how they kind of want you to keep responding or keep shooting your shot. So that's why I'm not, like I said, I can get how you can shoot your shot for a year and then maybe, but just her, the way she explaining it to me in my face, don't be that brutally honest with me. I'm sorry. My ego cannot take it. Just let me leave it up to my imagination. I'd rather sit here and say, dang, what took you so long? I'd rather you sit here and say, I was in a relationship. You could be lying to me. You could have been out here horn, getting your doors blown down the whole time. I would not care, but don't sit here and come to me and tell me like, oh, you used to just like the fucking the island jungle man who was flipping you all around the bed. Now you sitting here telling me now you waiting for I can't take that one. I'm sorry, that one ain't gonna work, dog.
But she first said she wasn't attracted to him. So I feel like as a female, you're gonna let the person know in so many ways that you're not attracted to him. So for you to come back a year and a half later, like that's crazy.
Yeah, because there's no way you can sit here and say, that's my point. It's no way you can sit here and say you used to wasn't attracted to me, but now you are. Like, how do that work?
You don't. And I'm saying, that's what I'm saying. Like me, if I were him, I would feel some type of way, because after a year and a half, I'm quite for sure you let me know somewhere in that time that I wasn't your type. So for you to come back now, I wouldn't want to be bothered with you.
Yeah, I'm cool. I ain't gonna hold you. Hey, I'm cool on that one. I'm not gonna lie to I guess to switch gears up just a little bit, because I did